What's up, YouTube? It's your barber girl, T Fire the Barber, and welcome back to another fade on the Faded Room. Alright, here we have our client. We're pretty much draping him and getting him ready for this taper service that we're about to put on his head. I'm excited for you guys to see this cut because this is going to be a really nice, cool, clean cut. And as you can see, it's interesting because his patterns are not all the way set for his waves, so this is gonna be an interesting haircut to try to blend, especially in the back. But I'm excited for you guys to watch this whole video. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Here we're gonna take the number 1 guard on the bab list and go with the grain of the way that his waves are growing. And we're pretty much just going to take this down to that length of the guard that we have, the number 1 guard. And as you can see, like I mentioned before, his pattern grows, at different angles. They don't all go the same way. So it's a challenging / interesting haircut every single time. But it's going to be a good blend. I hope you guys like it. And we're just going to speed this up pretty much, just so we could get to our next step, which is creating our first guideline in the back and bald it out. I know you guys have noticed so far, but as you can see, his haircut is not all the way grown back in because he comes weekly to get his haircut, but it's still gonna be a transformation nonetheless. So stay tuned and keep watching, and hope you guys watch till the end. But let's get back into your taper. Now we're gonna move into our second step, which is creating another guideline, but this is with our clippers all the way closed, lever all the way closed, and that's just to blend and have a smoother transition. Here we're going to go into our next guide, which is the clipper all the way, no guard, all the way open. So we're going to close our lever to the halfway point, and we're going to blend out that line that we created. As you can see, it's pretty much blending pretty good so far. Next, we're going to go with our 1.5 and pretty much do the same thing. Even though the number 1, the top of the head is 1 coming down, because he has kind of a softer grain of hair, a lot more hair could come out at the same time, so we're going to use a higher guard just to try to blend that area. And this is where the creativity / figuring out your client's head and what will work and what doesn't work. So all the time, the step-by-step doesn't really work every single time, and at that point you just got to figure out how you could blend this out. And that is how this 1.5 guard came in. And as you can see, we're gonna go back in with the number 1 and blend out that line where we can see that was created by the 1.5. And the lever is all the way closed, and we're just gonna go in and blend that line out. Like I said, I feel like this is a very interesting and intriguing and challenging haircut, just because of all the different ways you have to blend it and adjust to it. But I think it's fun when you find hair hairs like these that grow like this, because it challenges you and it challenges you to learn. But here we're gonna go back in with the number 2 and blend that little darker line that was created by the 1.5. And I know to some people this might not make sense, seeing that we came down and went with the grain with a number 1, but like I said, you just gotta blend out the lines, and whatever gets the job done is what you use. So now we're gonna go to the half, and we're gonna blend out that line that the number 1 and the number 1.5 had created. And if you guys could see, I know you guys could see the angle at which I'm actually blending that line out, and I'm using to blend that line out, I'm going with the growth of the hair. so I'm not just going straight up even though the hair is growing at an angle. I pretty much go with that angle to blend that area out, and it usually blend pretty good for me when I go with the angle. It's just like if the hair was going straight down, you blend it straight up. So you're just adjusting as you go throughout the haircut. And here we are with the number 2, and we just keep going at that angle and chipping away at it. As you can see, that area is blended. We're going to go back and do some detail work at the end of this haircut, but so far the back part is blended. Here we're going to move to the side and do the same thing. We're going to create our first guideline with the shavers and take out the rest of his beard hair. And we're going to create our second guide, and go up and keep repeating the same steps until we get a really nice, it's considered a high taper here at the side, but it's also, even though it's high, it's also very compact, and you guys are going to see what I mean at the end of the taper, how compact the blend is at the top, but it also has a really nice transition from the bottom. And here's the number 1. We're going to go up, create our next guideline. I'm going to let this video just play and run just so you guys could see how much detailing and work it takes to create the type of taper that I'm going to create for his haircut, and the way that it just stands out at the end of this taper. But yeah, we're just going to keep going back in there with the 1, making sure that whole area is clean and detailed, and we're trying to keep the shape, as you guys can see, like that half moon shape. We're trying to keep that shape. And then now we're going to go up on the next guard and do the same thing. Keep the shape and blend the area, blend it out. I know it's going pretty fast, you guys, but that's how long it took to pretty much blend that area out and keep the shape as it is. As you guys can see, we're going to go back in here with the 1 and just blending. We're doing detail work at this point, and we're just cleaning it up. And now we're going to go with our number 2 and do the same thing. Just clean up that bulk at the top that's there, and we're still keeping the shape, and we're not taking a whole lot of hair off, but we're making sure that area is blended. We're going to move to the next side of his head and do the same step that we did on the right hand side, but this side is going to move a whole lot faster since it's the same steps. We're going to bald it out. Make sure we clean up the sideburns area as we're going, just because it's not a lot of hair there and we could just knock it out on the way. So we're just going to clear that area and then go back in. This is our no guard clipper all the way closed, and we're creating that guideline that's going to give us that good transition. And here we're going to go into our next step, and we're going to create our next guideline. Next step that needs to be blended out, and we're just going to close this halfway to blend that line that we had just created out. Just halfway, and then just blend it out. As you guys can see, this taper is already transitioning into matching the one of the other side. Here we are with the number 1 guard all the way closed, knocking out that area, keeping our shape, blending this area, keeping it high, tight, still blended and transitioned and faded up, but still being able to see where that curve is going to be created. I think this taper suits his head very well, and that is something throughout a haircut, or when you're cutting someone, sometimes it takes trial and error to figure out what haircut's going to be good for a client, or really complements the shape of their head, and how high you would have to go for it to complement it and stuff like that. And I think the height of this really complements the shape of his head and the style with his waves. You guys are going to see it at the end of this video. Now we're just going to go back in here. We're pretty much just blending out and doing detail work. Still keeping our shape. So now I'm going to put my client back, and pretty much when he's laid down like this, I take advantage of it and try to work on the beard because it gives me full access to underneath the chin, and I don't have to ask them to lift their neck since they're already back laying like this. But this is only for certain situations too. I don't use this for every single client. So now we're going to go into prepping the hairline and cleaning up his beard slash mustache area. And I give him a shave with the razor, so we're preparing that area, preparing the skin to be able to shave nice and smoothly. And here we're just going to place a hot towel on our client's face, relax him a little bit, and getting him also ready for the shave. Here we're just going to pretty much clean up the area and take off any additional product that's left. And what this does is pretty much prep the hair area and take away all the oils. Now we're going to move into shaving this area. We're going to take our time and shave this whole area, give them a nice clean smooth shave. As you can see, we're stretching the skin while we're shaving just to make sure we don't cut the client. That is not what we want. Here we are. We're going to move to the next side of the face, and we're pretty much doing the same steps over there that we did here on the right hand side. Stretch the skin and just pull the razor. Having a good amount of tension is very important. Now we're going to put another towel and clean up all the excess product that's on his face, leaving him nice and clean. And here we're just going to put on some aftershave just to ease his skin back into, closing the pores and everything like that, and just so we don't have him, in discomfort while we're creating the hairline and finishing up the rest of the haircut. And now we're back. Now we're going to move into the hairline, and you guys, like I said before, you guys know this is our kill shot. This is, how we tell how we feel about our haircut. So now we're going to go into it. Not pushing the hairline back. That much, just following his natural hairline pattern. Even though on one side it said it, if you guys will see a little bit later on when I'm doing the vertical bars, you will see right there that it's pulled back a tad bit. But it's just because that pretty much matches the other side, so we had to take it back a little bit, but still not, take off that much hair or push his hairline back like that. And then we're just going to use the corners here and create that C-cup effect here in the corner. Look at his hair. You guys can see we're pretty much just taking our time, going in there, moving the blade. And now we're going to move our way to the back and create his line up in the back. The key to this haircut is also keeping the hair lines, lineup of the haircut as natural as possible. So it gives you a really, really nice natural looking haircut and hairline. Plus you don't want to really, go all the way up, and then when it goes back, it's going to be all extra hair back there in the taper that's going to be going back. And we're going to do the same thing in the front here. And so far this right side of the head is pretty much lined up nicely, and then we're going to move to the left hand side, and we're going to go in and do the same thing. Keep it as natural as possible, just take enough hair to show that his hair is lined up. And at the top, we're just going to use the corners like we're using a pencil and carving out that area, carving out that nice perfect shape behind the head, and keeping it as natural as possible back there, guys. Don't push it too high. And here we go. We're going to move back to the front side of his front lineup, and we're going to finish the right hand side. Gonna move to the vertical bars and finish up this side of the head. As you can see, we're just tapping. We're not putting a whole lot of pressure because we already prepped the skin and the hair. You can see how easier this process makes, you know, preparation make this process even easier, you know, than it usually is, or that it can be. So that shows you how important preparation of the hair before creating a hairline is. And here we are, we're just gonna go in and put some enhancements to fill in some part of his hair in the front, and just to give it that extra boost. We're gonna move our way to the next half and do the same thing on this half of the head. And now we're finishing up this side of the head, and then we're gonna move into cleaning up one last time with the razor. We're gonna stretch the skin and pull the razor towards us very slowly. This is just detail work, so we're not rushing through this process. We're just taking nice short strokes and pause and cleaning up this area, you know, just to make sure we have that really nice clean finish at the end. And we're pretty much at the end of this haircut. As you guys can see, we're just gonna be, you know, clean up the whole rest of the front of the head, making sure nothing is left unchecked, so we can get that nice clean finish at the end. There we go on the other opposite side, or we're gonna do the same thing on this side, you guys. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching and all the support of everyone so far, that you guys have been hitting me up with questions and comments and everything. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for subscribing. I really appreciate it, you guys. And I also can't wait to make more videos for you guys. You guys are giving me all the inspiration and everything to just keep going and keep making videos. Here we're just going to put on the last finishing touches on this haircut, taking off any strays that we have, taking down any dark spot that we have. As you guys can see, it's pretty nice and smooth. Have that steady hand. Gotta have that steady hand, man, with the waves. Don't dig in, anything like that. Just glide across the top of the hair just to take off all those extra strays. And then we just put some product at the end just to make our wave pop a little bit more. And that's gonna be the end of the service. Don't forget the oil sheen. Don't forget the oil sheen, man. Spray that hair at the end, give it that extra shine, and here we are. This is our end result of this cut. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys were able to make it all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, man, so this is your barber girl, T Fire, the barber. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Faded Room. I'll catch you guys on the next fade. See y'all later. Don't forget, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, we out.